Now, let's get to the Compton Dirty Pig in Jean Square, right? Um, I don't know if y'all have been updated because it's been a few days since I've been on, but more parts of Keefe D's interview with ABC News has been released. And in the words of Scarface, I've never seen a man cry until I seen a man die. Right? Keefe D a gangster, but even a gangster cries at times. You know what I mean? In the words of in the words of Scarface, I've never seen a man cry until I seen a man die.
They ain't got no evidence. They don't have nothing. They know they don't have nothing. Can't even place me out here. And they don't have no gun, no car, no Keefe D, no nothing. No, everybody on video but Keefe D. You know what I'm saying? This is wrong, man.
Prosecutors declined to respond directly to Davis's new claims. They say their case is strong, and they expect a conviction. Keefe D, emotional about his life behind bars and time away from his grandchildren.
Yeah, I thought I was going to do college with my grandkids. You know, they're pretty good athletes. You know, 18 years later, you know what I'm saying? I did everything they asked me to do. Get new friends, stop selling drugs. I stopped all that.
The trial is still nearly a year away, scheduled to start in February of 2026.
I shouldn't have said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't have said nothing. And I'm innocent, man. And God got my back. And God will see me through this. They ain't got no evidence. They don't have nothing. They know they don't have nothing. Can't even place me out here. They don't have no gun, no car, no Keefe D, no nothing. No, everybody on video but Keefe D. You know what I'm saying? This is wrong, man.
Prosecutors declined to respond directly to Davis's new claims. They say their case is strong, and they expect a conviction. Keefe D, emotional about his life behind bars.
Now it's going to be a year. Seems like a long time from now, but I don't believe that it's going to feel that way. I think it's going to come rather quickly. It's kind of hard not to sympathize with a grown man crying, you know. Is he innocent? I believe that he's a patsy. I believe he agreed to be a part of something that he didn't think would land him in this position. But I don't believe that he was there when the shooting happened. I don't. I just really don't think he was there when the shooting happened. I don't even believe that Orlando Anderson was there when the shooting happened. Now, Now, the dirty Compton pig, right? Former pig turned drug dealer. I gotta say the dirty drug dealer because that's his last occupation. But he keeps saying that Keefe D did it, right? And he's mad at us for thinking that he has something to do with it, right? But why don't Reggie prove that Keefe D did it? How can Reggie prove that he did it? Can you prove that Keefe D was there? Since you leading the grand jury and you snitching on him, and you was able to call your father and tell your father that he did it, where's your proof? Anybody ever think about that? How is Reggie going to the grand jury testifying that Keefe D and the South Side did this, right? Where's his evidence? This is what I don't understand about the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. How could Reggie go to them and tell them that Keefe D and Orlando and them did it with no evidence? And then he can't say who identified them for him to call his dad. He keeps telling this BS story about, oh man, it was a bunch of people in front of the hospital, and all these dudes in front of the hospital, they were just talking. So I was just air hustling, and I heard what happened. So just what you call it, I overheard that, and I went and told my dad, and my dad called around and told. Okay, you ever heard some dudes talking? And they told you ever heard them say, yo, it was Orlando and them. Who are the guys? It should only be Death Row out there, right? It should only be the outlaws out there. Who's out there that identified them for you to call your dad and tell him exactly who did it? Because your father said you told him exactly who did it, where they was at, where they was going, and where they was headed, or something like that. So when you get on the stand in the trial and they ask you, well, who told you it was Southside? What are you gonna say? I don't remember. It was so many people out there. I can't remember. It was 28 years ago. I can't remember. I just overheard one of the homies talking, and they said it was Orlando and them, and they was in the way. Well, that would have had to been somebody that was goddamn there. Only person at the hospital that could have been talking about who it was had to be there, which means you would know the people that was there. Whether it was the mob, dudes from the mob, or if it was the outlaws. There's nobody else in that caravan outside of K-Dub, Trayvon, Frank, the outlaws, Buntree, Neckbone. The girls in the Sebring, and maybe some other random people, right? But in your circle that will be at the hospital, that was at the shooting, it's only Trayvon, K-Dub, Suge Pac, Frank, Edie, Yaki, Gaddafi, Tree Neckbone. Those are the people in the vicinity of the shooting. Those probably, and then they probably the people at the hospital. So explain to me, if all your people at the hospital and Gaddafi, Edie, Frank, the girls in the Sebring, Suge even spoke to the police. Everybody spoke to the police. You brought everybody to speak to the police except for Trayvon and K-Dub, right? So who would be at the hospital out of those people that would be talking that would have known that it was Orlando Anderson and the Southside Crips for you to call your father? So we'll be waiting to the grand jury, Reggie, to see what you bet. You got about 9 months to come up with a good one if they don't come pick you up before then. And you sit here claiming that you're not scared. Oh, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking in my boots. If you're not scared, why you out here deflecting? You worried. You know you worried. We can tell every time you're looking at that door when you hear it go off. And Reggie, what makes you think that these investigators don't reach out to YouTubers? You don't think these investigators don't reach out to YouTubers, knowing that they done did all this research? You don't, you really, you think, because I heard you say, oh, you think these people on YouTube, they listening to y'all? You don't think they listening to YouTube? You don't think they reaching out to YouTubers for information? You really don't think that? Okay. Okay. All right. See, the thing about you, Reggie, that makes you so slower than the people that you try to clown, right? Is if you were smart, you would stay off YouTube knowing that you already testified in the grand jury. You know why? Everything that you say is being recorded for later. And you already contradicted yourself plenty times over. It's so bad now that people emailing me, sending me stuff that I already know about, showing your contradictions. So what are you going to do when you get on the stand? And you already said what you said under oath. You already contradicted yourself already. In that grand jury, you said Keefe D pulled the gun at the Soul Train Awards, knowing that was a lie. You knew it was C. Gutter. And the dumb thing you did was you went in the grand jury and said it was Keefe D to make Keefe D look bad. But on YouTube, you already corrected yourself and said that you knew it wasn't Keefe D. But you went after you said on YouTube that you knew it wasn't Keefe D and apologized, said it was C. Gutter. And you still went to that grand jury and testified and said it was Keefe D. Now, what do you think is going to happen when you go to testify to that again and YouTubers then show them that you knew already that it wasn't Keefe D and it was C. Gutter and you're the one saying it? You know that's going to be perjury, right? So if you don't get hemmed up for the murder of Tupac, you could bare minimum expect to go to jail for perjury. There's so many lies in your grand jury testimony that contradict what you say on YouTube. You so stupid, bro. You so stupid. You will go and testify that Keefe D pulled the gun on you at the grand jury, and you said on YouTube way before the grand jury that you know it wasn't him, it was C. Gutter. What are you going to do? You try to go in there and be a character witness, try to set this dude up, and you're going to walk out of there in handcuffs, bare minimum with perjury. Watch. So I don't know why you think that you are smart in the DA. Why you thinking you are smart in the DA, you're only making the defense stronger. And Keefe D got a weak defense. But your lies is going to make his defense stronger. Mr. Orchestrator. That's what you said, right? You called yourself that. The orchestrator. Oh, let me chill. Reggie, you don't think they're going to subpoena no YouTubers? From what I'm told, it's a 1% chance that they can. Now, I know 1% is a shot in the dark. 1% is just a little spit in the ocean. Don't mean nothing. But it is possible with just that 1%, Reggie, that they may call up some of the people that you hate just to be character witnesses. You know, you threatened a lot of people on YouTube. You talk bad about people's kids. So when you think that you go and get up on that stand and be a credible witness, there's going to be so many YouTubers that's going to come up there to assassinate your character and show you threatening them and talking trash about them. And all the videos of you threatening people's lives. You mess with Reg, it's RIP. Right? I wonder if that even I wonder if you was referring to Tupac when saying that too. Mess with me, it's RIP. But the thing with you, Reggie, I shouldn't even say this because it might help you. But those who watch and pay attention, we know when you're guilty. I keep telling you, brother, you're a talking head. So it's not much that you can do when it comes to emotion. All your emotions is right there in that head, in your face. And the more you get emotional, whether it's good, bad, happy, sad, mad, whatever it is, we've been watching you long enough. We've been watching your talking head, Max Headroom, right? To know when you're lying, brother. And then you get mad at people for believing the truth. Now you even to the point now where you're talking down on just the regular blue collar workers. Yeah, y'all dumb Walmart workers and y'all working at McDonald's. Of course, y'all gonna believe this and believe that. What do common sense and people with intelligence got to do with them working at Walmart or anywhere? It don't matter if they're homeless. People can still see your BS, brother. I don't understand how you try to disrespect the people that come and watch you by telling them they broke or they got BS jobs and stuff like that because they listen to people like myself and other people that lay stuff out that they can clearly see makes sense. But you want to sit there and try to discredit people and talk down on them so they will support you, which is kind of ass backwards if you want to ask me, brother. But you keep talking about me. I thought you said I didn't get enough views for you to be talking about. So what you talking about me for? Because I'm hitting that the nail on the head. Because you can't make up for the time lost where you was at for the 3 or 4 hours after Pac and Suge was shot. And then you can't come up with a good enough reason to why your dad say you called him within the hour, and now all of a sudden you're saying 3 and 4 hours. And now your 3 and 4 hours turned to 2 to 3 hours this week. So which one was it? An hour, 3 to 4 hours? Now it's 2 to 3 hours. And you wonder why people question if you had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. How would they not question it when you the head of security and you ain't nowhere around? And you know what bothers me the most about this? Why nobody sued you? That's the only thing I don't understand about Death Row and Suge in this whole situation. Why didn't Death Row sue you, bro? Now, I don't want to make the wrong assumption here. but it's quite weird. Not only did Suge sue you, he didn't even fire you. Not only did he fire you, he let you keep working there and then run the company when he went to jail. That is just a little bit strange. That's just a little bit strange. Suge should have been done with your ass. Pull the guns off of people. You know where they're around. You're worried about the club like you a partner or something, and you're not his partner. You're just security. Why are you worried about the club and getting a license and all this other stuff? You don't go to the scene of the crime. You show up to the hospital 3 or 4 hours later. And Death Row don't sue you or fire you. And then you run the company after that. That is kind of weird. Don't sit well with me. And if Suge didn't get shot, it would look crazy. Nigga should have fired you, bro, and sued you. I don't know how Feeney didn't sue you. And why you out here calling people snitch and you a federal informant? That's the thing I don't like. First of all, you sit here and talk about cop, you're a cop, and you like good witnesses, this, that, and other. But then you turn around and call people snitches when you are a federal informant. You testified against Keefe D in the grand jury. You a rat. You on YouTube telling all the time. I don't understand you, bro. You snitched on Suge, said he killed Biggie. You the one that gave up Teresa Swan or Tammy Hawkins, sent her up in the jail with a wire on via Greg Caden. And you told Greg Caden she'll kill Poochie. And you got the nerve to be out here calling people snitches. You're on camera saying that she'll kill Biggie, nigga. You also the same dude that snitched on Suge and them with the P-Funk shirts going to the Soul Train Awards. Snitch. You a rat bastard. Rodin Rat Jr. You got some goddamn nerve. Certified federal informant for goddamn Phil Carson and his partner, LJ. You a rat. Say you wasn't a rat. Say you wasn't a federal informant for Phil Carson and them. Say you wasn't an informant for Greg Caden. You a rat with an S curl. And you just say, yeah, I still work with the police now in the Keefe D place. I work with that Las Vegas Metro Police Department. I'm the one that got him to do the interviews. I booked those interviews and everything to get him to come out here and talk. And then you testified against him in the grand jury. Who are you calling a snitch? You are certified rat. You look up rat right now, your fat face will be sticking out of a mousetrap. Oh, he's talking about niggas' views. Stop view watching, nigga. You know how dudes be pocket watching? This dude be view watching. Stop view watching. Jerry Curl Jenkins. The last nigga with an S curl. Talking about he not worried. If you ain't worried, why you doing shows about it? If you ain't worried, why you talking about it? If you ain't worried, why you do that clickbait title talking about niggas, your house got raided? You worried. But don't worry, they coming to get you. They'll get you before that next S curl dry out. Before that bottle of activator run out, they will be coming to get you, brother. Jerry Curl Jenkins. Messing up your wife's pillow, nigga. Stop messing up that woman's pillow. Jerry Curl Jenkins. The S Curl Sheriff. Oh, you ain't make it to sheriff. Yeah, I can't even call you the S Curl Sergeant. You ain't even make it to sergeant. Soul Glow. You did make it to Soul Glow. Let your soul go. Reggie Wright. Soul Glow. This is the last nigga with an S curl. It's crazy. All right, but that's enough for the Compton Pig for tonight. Let's talk about the other pig, the fat pig. Well, they both fat pigs. Gene Squill. Let's talk about Gene Squill.